blood volume here for a second. All right, so this is in the left ventricle. Okay. So cardiac output. Cardiac output is the amount of blood your heart pumps out per minute. Okay. So cardiac output is the amount of blood pumped out per minute. It's usually measured in liters per minute because over a minute it's a couple liters. Does anybody remember how many liters? 5. Yeah, exactly. So at rest, cardiac output is 5 liters per minute. Okay? So that amount is going to be dependent on 2 things. How fast your heart beats, right? The rate at which it pumps out blood, and how much blood it pumps out with each beat, right? So cardiac output is equal to heart rate, which is measured in beats per minute, and stroke volume, which is measured in mils per beat. So stroke volume is the amount of blood that you pump out of your heart with each beat. Okay? So if we look at this, all right? Does anybody remember what phase we're in here? Almost. That's what phase you're in at the arrow. What phase are you in right before that? What phase are you in here? Say that louder.
With the relaxation.
Yes. All right, so this is ventricular relaxation. This is filling. Most importantly, what is it called? Diastole. All right, this is diastole.
So it's a whole from this line.
Oh yeah, from this line to,
Right.
yeah, if I did this again.
Yeah.
We're looking at systole and diastole. Yeah, okay? So the point here is this is end diastole. Okay? So what happens at the very last moment of diastole, of relaxation of the ventricles? What's the very last thing that happens to them? The atria contract and send extra blood into the ventricles, right? That moment is end diastole. Then the ventricles start to contract, okay? We're talking about ventricular diastole specifically here. So it is at end diastole that your ventricles are holding the most amount of blood that they're going to hold, right, before they start to contract again, okay? So this is end diastolic volume. Okay? That's the most blood they're going to have in there in the chamber before it starts to contract and then eject. So then what happens here? Ejection, which is called what? Systole. All right, so what do you think this is? End systolic volume, all right? Okay, so this is the point, right as the ventricles finish contracting, when that aortic valve closes and they start to relax, this is the least amount of volume you're going to have in the ventricles. Okay? So, end diastolic volume minus end systolic volume is stroke volume. All right, that is the amount of blood you pump out per beat. How much blood is it? Just look at my numbers on here. What would this stroke volume be? 60. 60 mils per beat. How many times does your heart beat a minute? How much? 75. 75 beats per minute. Somebody calculate that for me. What do you get? What is it? I don't. Don't ask me. I need a calculator. Maybe? Someone calculate it. Tell me what you get. Probably 5,500. 4,500? All right. 4,500. 4,500 what? $4,500 mils per minute, which is the same as 4.5 liters per minute. All right? Does that make sense?
We can get 54 minutes, huh?
No, that's not 54 minutes. That's 5 liters per minute. That's my handwriting. 5 liters per minute is what you're pumping. Yeah. All right, 5 liters per minute. So again, if I give you a resting heart rate, if I say somebody's heart rate is 50 beats per minute and their stroke volume is 90 mils per beat, you need to be able to convert, you need to be able to tell me what cardiac output is, and make sure you tell me. It's okay if you leave the measurements in 4,500, you just better not say liters per minute, because that is wrong. All right, that is super wrong. Okay, so we've already mentioned that in the typical male, it's around 5 liters per minute. In the typical female, it's probably closer to 4 liters per minute. Okay. However, when you exercise, your cardiac output during maximal exercise can increase up to 5 times, sometimes even more than that, which means that you are pumping 25 liters of blood per minute through your body when you're exercising. All right, you have to get a lot of blood to your tissues, a lot of oxygen to your tissues. Okay, so your highest cardiac output subtracted from your resting cardiac output, that's your cardiac reserve. All right, that's the ability, the ability you have to increase cardiac output to meet the needs of your tissues. Okay, so whenever your tissues require more oxygen, your heart is going to start pumping more blood so you can deliver more oxygen. All right, what's another situation where you might see cardiac output go up? When is another situation where your tissues would need more oxygen? Ah, great example. Yes, higher altitudes, absolutely. What else? Exertion. Very close to exercise. What else? Anytime your sympathetic nervous system is activated. Anytime your sympathetic nervous system is activated. Anytime your heart rate goes up. Right? If your heart rate goes up, what's going to happen to cardiac output? It's going to go up. That's just the relationship, right? So there were certain things, remember, that affected your heart rate and the force of contraction. What happens if your heart beats harder? What happens if the force of contraction is harder? What do you think? Let's say I throw a ball. All right, I wish I had a ball. And then let's say, whoa, I throw a ball. Right? You're going to have a difference of how far it goes, right? So your heart at rest versus your heart at exercise, right? If you contract harder, you're going to pump out more of that blood that's there, okay? So if the heart beats harder, beats more forcefully, that is called contractility. So no longer will we say you increase the force of contraction. What you will say is you increase contractility. Okay? So when the heart beats more forcefully, contractility goes up, stroke volume goes up. Okay. So let's take a back step here. We're going to talk about the 3 different things that control stroke volume. Really, we know, so we're talking about how we're going to get cardiac output to go up or down based on the needs of our body, right? Whatever the demands of our tissues are. How do we get heart rate to go up? What causes heart rate to go up? What is it? What specifically makes heart rate go up? The sympathetic nervous system. All right, the sympathetic nervous system makes heart rate go up. If the sympathetic nervous system is activated and heart rate goes up, what happens to cardiac output? It goes up. All right, what makes heart rate go down? Parasympathetic. Okay. The parasympathetic nervous system is activated, heart rate goes down, cardiac output goes down. Okay? So heart rate can control cardiac output. Stroke volume controls cardiac output. So let's look at what controls stroke volume. All right, I'm going to do these fast. All right, stroke volume is controlled by 3 things. Preload, contractility, and afterload. Okay. What is contractility? Okay. What increases the force of the heart? Okay. Yes. In its very essence, yes. But what physiologically makes the heart beat harder? What system regulates? It's the sympathetic nervous system. Yeah. Or just norepinephrine, epinephrine in general, right? So that activation of the sympathetic nervous system also increases contractility. Okay? So this one we've already talked about. All right, so if your sympathetic nervous system is activated, your heart's beating more forcefully, your stroke volume is higher, your cardiac output is higher. Okay? Preload. What is preload? Preload is the amount of filling. Do you guys remember this relationship of a muscle cell? All right, I hope that you do. Okay? So preload is based on the length-tension relationship and the optimal length of a sarcomere. Remember, cardiac muscle is sarcomeres, all right, same as skeletal. So when you fill with more blood, right, you actually stretch the sarcomeres to a more optimal length so that remember, this is like 100% of tension. Okay? So think of the more you fill, the closer you are to this maximal tension. All right? Where you can pump out a bunch of extra blood. Another way to look at it is like this. Okay? Where this is volume, specifically end diastolic volume. All right? And this is pressure, although that's not important right now. All right, so, well, no. This is stroke volume. Don't listen to me. All right, so as you fill with more blood, let's say you fill with 200 mils versus 100 mils. Okay? If you fill with 100 mils, you pump out 50. If you fill with 200 mils, you pump out 100. Okay? It's the same thing here. You're at this point of the length-tension relationship. So the more you fill with, the stronger you can actually pump that blood out. Okay? That is preload. So if preload increases, what happens to stroke volume? It increases. What happens to cardiac output? It increases. Yes. All right. Very quick. Oops. Last one, real quickly. All right. Afterload. Afterload is the pressure in the aorta. All right, so we've got our left ventricle here, and we've got our aorta. Okay? Let's say that the aorta is, let's say that you have high blood pressure, or that aorta is stiff. It's got like arterial sclerosis or something, so it's really stiff. All right, and you have a very high pressure in the aorta. Let's say your aortic pressure is 150. Let's say it's 180. How much pressure does the left ventricle have to generate to open that aortic valve? 181. All right? It has to generate more pressure, right, to push open that aortic valve. Okay? Which means it's harder. All right? And it's not going to eject as much blood because it's having to work harder to push out that valve. Less blood is going to be ejected. So afterload, if afterload increases, stroke volume decreases. Okay? A normal afterload is around 120 millimeters mercury. Okay? I know this is a lot I threw at you at the very end. I want you to know these three factors affect stroke volume and how. So be able to define each one. What is it? And if it goes up, what happens to stroke volume? And why is that important? Oh, hold on one second. Wait, don't go anywhere. I'm supposed to hand out packets for the majors. So if you are interested in applying to the majors, come with me to my office and let's get a packet.